We have Cyril Demetris from Lexus Canada, director of Lexus Canada, and we're sitting in the brand new RX350. Now, this is your bread and butter vehicle, isn't it? You sell more of these than any other Lexus product.
Yeah, absolutely. It's makes up almost 40% of our sales in Canada.
So to have a new one is a big leap of faith. You got to get it right.
Yeah, you got to get it right. It's a big opportunity, but it's at the same time a bit of a risk, right? And making sure you do get it right, because if you don't get it right, it jeopardizes a big part of sales.
So what do people like about the RX? What does your ownership say that they like about it?
Our RX owners are perhaps our most loyal base of customers. They love the comfort, they love the dependability, the quality, the craftsmanship of the interior, and that has really created a very loyal base of customers. This vehicle will keep all that, but take us in a little bit of a different direction in the sense of we have a very aggressively bold, provocative style to the vehicle in the exterior, and we vastly improved the driving dynamics of the car.
Were those things that people said that they wanted improved? Because yes, you've got all of the key factors like reliable, well-made, luxurious, and all that, but maybe needed something else.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard from our loyal base of customers during our research that they actually really appreciate the bold, provocative styling of the vehicle, right? I mean, the typical Lexus owner of the past might buy the car for the dependability and reliability, more of the rational factors, but we're trying to appeal on more of an emotional level with the design and performance of the car, and clearly this vehicle hits the spot that way.
And you're seeing that across the line, like you have the IS,
right?
The sedan that really was one of the first to have that edgy design, along with the GS, and it's evolved and it's now on this vehicle. But you really went like another step, it seems to me, with this new RX. That it's the biggest grille you've done. It's the boldest look I think that you've had so far. So, what are your thoughts on that? Bigger and bolder? Is that what Lexus buyers want? Bigger and bolder?
Yeah. Well, I've kind of always said that. Perception of Lexus equals perception of RX and vice versa.
So, because it is the brand.
Right. And I feel that in the revolutionization of the design of this vehicle, we've come full circle in the overhauling the perception of the brand, because I've said to our people that, if we change the perception of RX, we change everything. We change how the brand is viewed. And clearly with this vehicle, it's more of a revolution than it is an evolution. And so we're excited about it, and all the testing we've done so far with the look of the vehicle, it's really resonated strongly.
So you're obviously hoping to, with the changes you made to the way it drives, to appeal to the people that would traditionally go to a European brands, right? So you've got a lot of competition in this set. It's so competitive now with crossovers and SUVs that I would suggest it's more European driving dynamics when you set it up in its most aggressive form.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we've done with the introduction of the NX last year, and now this introduction of this vehicle, we've created a lot more coverage over the luxury SUV segments in general. It's becoming much more homogenous and much more competitive. Clearly, there is no clear distinction between vehicles, so our people are more apt, I think, to cross-shop different segments.
And who do Lexus people typically cross-shop with?
With this vehicle, they would typically cross-shop an Acura MDX. They might cross-shop an Infiniti Q50. Not so much in the German brands.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. So maybe it wasn't on the radar of people who were looking for German cars. You think this might get it on the radar?
Absolutely. I think the sportier drive, the driving dynamics will help in that regard. Also, the vehicle is a little bit bigger and has more of a presence, can compete more on a head-to-head basis versus an X5 or an ML. So we fully expect to get on the consideration list of some of those people that are considering those German luxury SUVs.
Now, having driven it today, I have to say that the way it drives, for me, I think is the biggest change. Okay. The RX was always, what I call traditional luxury. It had the nice amenities. It was comfortable. It did all that well, but it really never ignited much passion in the way that you drove it. This one, actually, now, it feels quite a bit different.
it's absolutely completely changed. We've done a lot of great work with the suspension and using body adhesives and screw welding techniques to create a more rigid body, and that is generated a much more dynamic drive to the vehicle, much more exciting to drive and fun to drive.
All right, now let's get a little bit into the Lexus brand. Have you seen with these more aggressive changes that you've made to much of your lineup now, with much more dynamic styling, is it moving the needle in sales?
It is. We're going to finish up this year probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25%.
Really?
Higher in terms of sales versus last year.
And what's moving? Is that because you're adding a whole new vehicle? You added the NX?
Yeah, that's certainly been part of it, and we now have, with the introduction of this vehicle, we'll get a good kick at the end of the year, and we will have strong redesigned entries in all three of the core luxury segments in Canada, which is that luxury low sedan, the luxury low SUV, and now luxury SUV. So having strong entries in all three of those segments has really helped. But clearly the luxury low SUV segment has really exploded this year in terms of overall growth. Mm-hmm. So our timing with NX couldn't have been better, and we were able to capture a good percent of that.
Now, before this one arrives in November, has the NX taken a bit of sales away from the RX?
Yeah, we anticipated it would, because in the case of RX, we were really covering a lot of ground. We were covering I would say the higher end of the luxury low SUV segment, as well as trying to reach up a little bit with RX. So with one vehicle, we were really trying to
get everybody.
So NX has certainly allowed us to cover that lower end a lot better. Yeah.
Now, some would argue that Nissan is trying to do that with Murano. They've got the low end under 30,000, and their higher end are trying to compete, and even styling with the edgy shape they've got with their Murano. Any thoughts on that? I mean, this is a new vehicle. Just as they came out with theirs, you come out with yours as well. But they're both very aggressively styled and similar size.
Right. I think that the segments are crowded. Everybody, all automakers see that the segment growth that's happening in the more crossover type body styles, and there's a lot of crowding and a lot of entries coming into those segments. We are not pressing ourselves to provide to go further downstream or provide a great array of choices in the segment. We think with NX and RX we have good coverage, and our focus is to provide a vehicle that meets the demands of our consumers, provides a vehicle of exceptional quality, great design, and above all else, we treat our guests with exceptional levels of service.
We don't have the pricing on this.
Right.
It's coming out in November, mid-November, late November, somewhere in there?
Mid-November, yeah.
So you're not going to tell me the price, but I've seen on the Toyota side of the business that the 2016 models really are not moving the price. Even with the low Canadian dollar, there's been not a lot of movement in pricing from 15 to 16. And can you kind of make a statement like that with this new model, with all the new features it has? Is it going to be roughly the same price?
I can't comment on whether it's going to be the exact same price. What I can say is that we understand how competitive the segment is and how competitive the market is, and I think that speaks to the fact that despite exchange, we have not seen huge price movements in the luxury automotive business. So
you have an advantage that this is made in Canada.
It can be an advantage, but made in Canada, but clearly, sourcing componentry and all those things
That's true,
comes
yeah,
into
yeah.
play with exchange rates and all that kind of thing. But frankly, what we do is we benchmark ourselves at the retail level and where we want to position ourselves
against your competitors, right?
And we, I can guarantee you that it will be a strong value proposition, like Lexus always is. On a comparatively equipped basis, we will have a good value proposition for our customers that has a lot of value to it. So,
Cyril, Director of Lexus, thank you for your time, sir.
Thanks, Zach.
Best of luck with the new RX. It is a big change on the outside, but it drives better. I'll tell you that right now. Thanks for your time.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Hey, thanks a lot for watching, and make sure to subscribe. If you'd like to watch another video, click the picture on the left.